We're back once
Let's
again.
fucking go. We're down two.
For now.
For now.
One will join us in a little bit when he gets off work and gets home. The other one
I know.
doing a Halloween.
I know how to make us down three real quick.
Okay.
I did not prep that map.
At least you know what's on my mind.
Who wants to do the recap this week, guys?
Make D-Knock do it. Make D-Knock do it. It's his story, after all.
It's everyone's story. Just D-Knock's the...
It's my chapter.
Yeah, it's his chapter.
I'm actually starting to get a little upset at saying story.
Alright. D-Knock, if you wish to go for it.
Yeah, sure. So we started last week with the full recap of the story. So an angelic woman, who we later learns is Scientia, or Sashat for D-Knock, breaks through some kind of barrier, which we didn't actually ask, but we believe to be either Torben's or his master's domain. The angelic woman basically asked, "Where's that son of a bitch?" And D-Knock's like, "Right here!" And holds up the little cage with Torben's soul in it. Super angry winged woman powers down. And it's just basically like, "Okay, let me put a lock on that so it lasts a full day." So we go back to the fire giant fortress / caves / whatever the hell it is. We still don't have an actual name for it.
HQ.
Basically, yeah.
Isn't there a name for those mountains?
Okay.
Something called Era.
Cursed.
I mean, is it still the same name? Is that the name that the people hiding call it? That's my question.
Oh, good point. I don't know.
Anyways. So we go back after D-Knock and Valinar go to check up on D-Knock's grandfather, finding no one home, lights dark, place is roughly trash, and there's a smell of sulfur in the air, which, putting another pin on the corkboard, demons?
You realize this corkboard is looking more and more like a map, like a big, massive U.S. map.
At this point, it's just straight yarn art.
I was just thinking like those conspiracy boards.
It's a Leeds.
Everywhere. It's everywhere.
Here's the thing. It's like one of those yarn arts where like you go from top, bottom, nail, one over.
With pictures of suspects.
Bruh.
Knit one, pearl two.
Really poorly drawn pictures.
Stick figure with a sword through the middle. Torben.
Little stick figures drawn so bad we have to write the names.
Yeah, no, the heads are triangles. Anything but a circle. Anyways, so D-Knock and Valinar go back to the HQ. D-Knock talks to his family. It's like, Any clues from you guys? Nope. Good luck. That's what it felt like. And we went to sleep. Woke up, headed over to back to the town hall. Sorry, I had to think of the word there. Where Scientia is waiting for us. She takes us downstairs and opens up a tunnel, which was an interesting use, overpowered use, of a relatively simple-ish spell.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I mean, God doing God things, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And took us to a cave where we have two very scary things looking a little bit less scary. Still scary, but just slightly less
Yeah.
because they humanoid.
Well, humans are pretty scary.
It depends on the human.
Well, that's why I said humanoid. Because they're not exactly human.
Nice Torvin art. His head looks reminiscent of a dragonborn.
I'm not gonna lie. I boogered that up so badly. I just stared at it and went, "How can I fix this without undoing it?"
It looks like a cock and ball to me.
Ah.
Okay. Okay.
Worse
the,
for
Big head
me.
Torvin.
what's the little dangly bit then?
A piercing.
Well, I mean, he is technically undead, so a little bit of rot, a little bit of dick
Hey.
rot.
All right. Well, now
Frost
you guys are
rot.
done making
Ugh.
fun of it.
Hey, I love it. You know, it's making fun of Torben. I like it.
Fair.
Anyways, the two in question are Korath and Eldervale. And Deanock's brain is just slightly rebooting. I say only slightly because he is used to Kati. As Eldervale is a guy.
Currently.
They seem to be
Yes.
having some struggles with it as well.
And kind of where we left off.
Yeah.
Close enough.
It's a good way to summarize my 5 pages of notes.
Five
There was a
pages?
lot of shit that happened in that session.
You
Yeah.
guys had 5. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 5 full pages of notes. I mean, there were a few lines skipped for dialogue, but still, these are solid paragraphs.
Wow.
A lot of shit happened.
I really did not feel like that was the case, but neat.
You were able to shove a lot of stuff
Really?
into a few minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There was a lot going on. Until I went back and recounted, I was like, there's no way.
So, one thing that I did forget to mention last week, and that was just because it skipped my mind. Deanock, when you would have returned to the mountain hideout, there would not have been any sign of John. Just as a heads up there.
Fair enough. It's been a little bit, so I also kind of forgot that John was.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, I do remember setting him free.
Yep. You basically said you're free to do whatever you want, and when you returned, he was not there.
And I
That's
do
about what I
believe
figured.
I think you're the only one that actually knew that. I don't think you relayed the message to the rest of us that, hey, by
No,
the way, I'm letting John go.
No, I specifically remember us having a conversation because
think-
um Xenos took
I
part
thought that.
of
Oh yeah, I took his weapon.
Yeah,
John's
I,
sword.
for
and
some
was
reason
like,
I thought that conversation was only with Xenos.
Yeah,
Maybe it was. I don't remember.
I got in italics. The only person who actually knew was Xenos, and Xenos is like, "I'll just go ahead and take his weapon."
In his defense, he only took one of them.
Yep.
Okay. So, as Koroth finishes teasing Scientia about the effect of her magic on Eldervale, Scientia kind of just scoffs and says it'll fade in an hour. Just don't be a baby. Next time, you'll listen to me when I tell you to wake up. The
Dino's just gonna kind of glance between the two, just like, okay, one, I don't like the gods, but still they're gods. So a god and a being my people worship as a god are arguing more immaturely than our group. The fuck?
well,
I don't know about that one.
well, the three of us do go back.
Dinoc doesn't say anything. He's just like glancing.
Oh, I see. That's an internal monologue. Understood. My apologies. So, we should probably do the thing that is probably the most important, and that is put that soul to good use. You don't have any pressing questions to, or anything to ask of Torben from the magic that you have binding him, do you?
Nothing we can't guesstimate. We believe that his master took a soul that our cleric here, Valinar, banished. And the boon of knowledge did not answer in a way that we could get direct confirmation.
Oh, so you guys are the ones who've been playing around with that.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been a little hit or miss. But,
Yeah.
limitations of the tool, right?
Limitations of the magic used at the time of its creation. And also probably at the time, given the knowledge I would have had then versus now. Yeah. We deities also don't have the privilege to look into another's domain, per se. It's also part of the reason why I could not get here beforehand. But I'm sure you guys are aware, or at least you are, Dinok, that these two, and Scientia will gesture to the two titans, and just kind of be like, are effectively the reason why you guys have been able to stay aloft thus far. They have been using a lot of their power in order to keep the island floating. That's why Eldervale here, and she kind of like juts a thumb, is always so exhausted and is almost always in a constant state of sleep. But we're going to try and rectify that. come this way. And she and the other two Titans will kind of turn and begin walking into like that area, kind of almost directly apart across from where you guys currently stand.
So one minor question
Onward.
about
Of course.
powering the islands. Are there others doing a similar thing to the other islands?
Not all of them, but a lot of them, yes. In fact, you met one with the Archmage, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. I figured that one.
Yes, he does a lot on his own to keep that island afloat. He does require every now and then some additional assistance, but overall, he does incredibly well for a mortal.
Well, the highest praise coming from you.
What is his name?
Was that you?
I'm
saying
trying to
something,
remember a
Paula?
name. Sorry. No, sorry. I'm looking for a name through some notes.
Gotcha. But for the most part, if an island has somebody or people keeping it aloft, it won't be indefinite. Even the Archmage himself is limited on time. These two, however, are not so. But my idea is, if we can obtain one island to no longer have an issue with maintaining flight, then the Titans could travel and find a way to aid the others. Until
That would certainly buy us more time.
It would buy you more time and time to travel to obtain a more permanent solution. But this is where we run into a problem. A little bit of one, anyway. And at this point, you guys would walk up and you guys would see an absolutely massive Harmony Stone. And just for the fun, I did a rough draw of this rough environment. So like down here,
It's a jellyfish. Oh, let me zoom out. Oh, that's better.
down here at the base, that's where you guys kind of came in at. On the left is water, on the right is the nest area, and then you guys kind of just walked down this way. So big Harmony Stone down here. It is.
That's a big Harmony Stone.
Yeah. Don't say it, Matt. Rob, don't say it.
We know what he's thinking.
I
had to mute to say it to get it out of my system.
For those of you who can't read into it, it's a penis joke. Stop whistling at me.
Whose phone?
It's mine. I have it on so that if because for whatever reason down here my phone doesn't like to get messages sometimes. It doesn't like to,
Even
it
your
doesn't
phone's
like
like, please just say it.
it doesn't like, or it doesn't like to alert me, and I like to be able to respond to my wife whenever she messages me because a lot of times it's important. So
Yeah, fair.
Good. Then we can ignore it. Hopefully, we'll just have good timing with different conversation.
Yeah.
yeah, and so this Harmony Stone is absolutely massive. I mean, it is huge.
Is it bigger than the ones we saw in Isurus?
I'm gonna say no, because the ones on Isurus, you guys were actually seeing at the kind of like
The very bottom.
like the bottom and like the middle part of it, kind of like at the thickest. You
Mhm.
guys are currently just seeing the tip.
Oh, this is just the tip.
Yes.
Okay. I have to ask: is there a
I'm
shaft
gonna be
leading
muted
downward?
so much tonight.
What was that?
Is there a shaft that leads down further where we could see the rest of it?
No.
Damn. We just had to settle for the tip.
Yes.
Oh, this is bad tonight, guys.
It's gonna be one of those nights. It's gonna be one of those nights.
We don't have, the female player. Her presence means that we're a little bit better behaved.
No, I don't know what you
I
mean.
said a little bit.
I think this would still be the exact same way.
Yeah, she'd probably make a few jokes herself. What do you mean? She makes it worse.
Yeah, fair.
Anyway.
Of course, she can always go back and rewatch the video and get all the jokes, and they should add fuel to the fire.
She won't.
Dang.
Anyways, we're only seeing the very tippy top.
Yes, and it's a large stone. And Scientiago continues to say, the problem that we will run into is that in order to make it a perpetual energy source, you will need 2 sources of energy. For example, we have an undead, gesturing to the cage at your hip,
Mm-hmm.
and a powerful undead. Tell me, what is an antithesis to an undead?
Several
Alive?
answers to that. Life itself, for one. Holy
Ooh,
energies.
an angel.
Holy magic.
Wait a minute. Am I onto something?
All of which are good ideas. All of which would work. But one that is more in tune, well, out of tune, would actually be a fae. And I say this because you can also use a demon as an energy source. And an opposite of a demon would be an angel. And she points to you, Katya, for your idea.
Ah.
Fae, however, are often very well versed in nature and life magics. And then they're also just little trickery fucks. But a fae would be a very opposite to an undead. the more
So-
powerful. Oh, please go for it.
So, in order for the energy source to be perpetually used, they would have to be opposing force fighting each other in a constant, near eternal, if not maybe actually eternal, as long as the crystal lasts.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just opposing energies? Or are there other conditions for such things?
Mostly, mostly no. They just need to be opposing in energies. For example, a demon and an angel would be opposing, and they would be able to power something for a very long time, depending on the strength of each creature. Now, some creatures can be bargained with and talked to, and pacts and things like that can be signed as well. So keep that in mind. Not everything has to be forged or forced into servitude. And some things that are not forced into servitude operate better. Not everything, but a lot.
So, if we set up a rotating contract with, say, 3 demons every 100 or so years, they switch who's in the crystal. As long as we have something equal in the terms of angelic or holy.
Yeah. Equal power is important because that's what keeps the cycle infinite. If one side was too much more powerful than the other, the one would eventually consume the other.
So it may be easy for us to come across a powerful Fae if we can speak with On directly about this. He might be able to convince one of his greater servants, I suppose, to play the role of opposing force here.
Does On have Faye serving him, or does he just have the angel guys
Is that a
serving him?
question to DM?
That's a question to the DM. Sorry.
He doesn't really have. He has like, so the Feywild would be like part of his domain in a sense. He doesn't lord over
Okay.
it, but he does have a strong connection to the Fey. You guys don't know much about the Fey realm currently, to my knowledge.
Nope.
So,
Nope.
Any knowledge like that has been lost, probably.
Mm-hmm. So, while On can command Fey, very rarely would you see, or have you seen him using anything like larger than a pixie. And
Okay.
when you did see Fey-ish creatures in his domain, they were mainly used as like scouts and guides.
Okay.
So whether or not he could bring forth a more powerful Fey for you guys to throw into a crystal is unknown.
Okay.
Now, you said pacts could be made. Is that sort of like a warlock pact? Like,
It's possible.
what I'm getting at Like, what I'm getting at is, say, I were to become in service to a powerful Fey being, and they give up their soul so they can live eternally inside the crystal, and they get their power from me doing their bidding. Would that help to offset some of the, I suppose, opposing energies if they're not
Problem
completely
there
equal?
is when you die.
Right.
You've already done that once.
I try not to. I really do.
That could be part of a pact. Like, I say part of a pact as in creating a pact with a. I mean, in all honesty, most likely some kind of demon or fiend. Maybe a Fae, of basically where they serve X number of years as a power source, and you do blank for them.
I feel like some horrible things could be asked of
Oh
us.
God.
Well, of course, at the
I-
same time, we're the ones who are also able to not sign said pact if we're not comfortable with their request.
It's also a phase, so there might be little tricks in that pact on their end.
Pulling pranks doesn't seem as bad as, slaughtering a village.
Yeah, sure, until they ask you to defend an area, a small village from this, and then you get attacked by 5 Tarasques or something.
I feel like Eldervale would take offense to that somehow, but I'm not sure what they would say.
Just snort. It's like,
Just kind of.
Oh, there's a Tarasque in here. No offense, I'm just saying what ifs. Hide would be a very good idea.
Hmm.
you forgot about that, didn't you?
I forgot there was a Tarasque in the room.
So we have to find. We had to figure out how we're going to get either one Fae or a demon and an angel to live inside of each of these crystals,
well,
or at
I'm
least
guessing
inside
for
of this one.
this one in particular, I'm guessing there's already someone slotted for this little fuck. And I jingle the cage.
Well, I do not have a counterpart for him, but if you want a way to permanently damn one's soul, and she'll just gesture to the crystal, be my guest.
Um.
Give me a second on that one.
I suppose we happen to know any Fae that just need to die. Do we?
That would be a question for my brother, actually. On would know of them better than I. I have a feeling that there are a couple on his shit list, but I do not want to speak for him.
Fair. What are you?
If damned
you're
is a strong word for you, Dinoc, maybe think of torment.
Deanoch looks at the crystal, looks at the cage.
If you feel like you have another use for his soul, by all means.
No. But on the one hand, I am. While I am. Maybe not okay is the right word, but less opposed to just simply erasing a soul. Even this one. Something rankled in me. The thought of just straight up consigning it to eternal agony in such a way.
But what is one soul compared to the lives of thousands? Millions? I don't know how many people there are in the world.
The human population
Now we're getting
currently
into
sits
philosophy.
around roughly 2.5 million.
2.5 million. So what is a handful of souls by comparison? Sure, they have to suffer for eternity, but it saves so many more lives in the long run. A small price to pay for everyone's continued existence.
And if it's any consolation, he's already promised his soul to the sleeping king.
Which isn't much better.
And that would mean he'll probably just keep coming back and back and back and back.
And so he can kill us all, and who knows what he'll
Which
do.
was why I was looking for just simply, hopefully, erasing it entirely.
Well, in this way, he actually gets to,
Serve his crime.
or in a way, he gets to lord over the island he was trying to take over, in a sense, by being a power source.
He'd be doing good, finally. If we just let him go free again, he may not have the same mercy upon our souls when he finally gets a hold of them.
The
Again, I
kingdom
was not looking
vibrates with
to
anger.
release his soul.
I say make him suffer.
To be fair, to my knowledge, it's not that it would be he would be in agony inside of the Harmony Crystal. It's called a Harmony Crystal after all.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
The Sleeping King once grabbed someone I tried to banish. What's to stop him from grabbing Torben's soul if we try to use him as a fuel source?
I believe part of that was because the different plane. It was not part of the mortal plane, which, correct me if I'm wrong, please. The mortal plane is more secure against such things.
More or less. The fact that you banished somebody, put them from the material plane into a pocket dimension. Pocket dimensions are not nearly as powerful or as strong or impenetrable as a regular dimension or plane of existence. We also have zero control. Well, you have zero control over where those pocket dimensions are created. Most likely scenario, you banished somebody, and the pocket dimension that was created was somewhere near the domain that the Sleeping King has claimed. In his situation, the Shadowfell. Being curious and wanting to know what this was, he probably simply reached out and took it. Not out of a spite or anything like that, but probably more out of a curiosity of what is this thing hanging out by my domain.
Okay.
Most likely, anyway. Obviously, I can't be 100% accurate on things that I don't or am not involved in, but and I also cannot speak for another creature's ambitions. But knowing what I know about him, that is the most likely outcome.
Okay.
How do we do this?
You already know how to do this. I wrote it in your spellbook, remember?
But don't we have to have both souls available before putting them in, or one might just deteriorate?
No, not necessarily. Torben's soul is an undead soul. It is immortal. It is immortal in the same sense that it is.
Fair.
So, while his soul would not deteriorate, and being inside the Harmony Crystal will protect him from, well, again, from the Sleeping King's influence, as well as being here in the material plane. Now, I would say I would still encourage you to find another creature to pair with this stone as soon as you could, simply because the sooner you can do that, the better chances you have of keeping this island aloft before Sleepy and looks, and you can see the Elder Vale's head just slowly tilting to the side as if they're falling asleep standing up. Runs out of energy to continue to power the loft of the city.
Give this a go.
Okay. So to be clear, you don't have anything with the other options of the soul cage that you want to take use of or make use of before putting his soul into the crystal, right?
You know what? I now just thought of something.
Mm-hmm.
Question being, where is the physical place? The Sleeping King's physical location, domain thing. Something like that, but I'm just trying to think of how to word it.
What plane of existence is he on?
No, I mean, does he have a temple dedicated to him somewhere on this world? Someplace that we can...
You want to know if there is a temple to the Sleeping King on the material plane.
Someplace where we can, reduce his influence by removing his physical influence from this world.
Okay.
Never thought of desecrating a temple before.
Well,
I mean, it's already desecrated. We'd be consecrating it.
To hear it told from you, Valinar, you essentially desecrated the temples of your home, didn't you?
No, that was my mentor.
Do you want to ask that question of Torben then?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm trying to think... Okay. Denoc will... Let me make sure there's no... Okay. I just had to make sure on my own side the rules of this asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
So Dinak will hold the cage aloft. Look, I'm guessing I can kind of see the soul, Torben's soul,
Yeah, sure.
glaring at me probably.
Yes.
Because I'm not seeing any flavor things about that.
I would say describe how you feel like the magic would be, how your magic would be holding, and you would be able to see what it is you see from your magic. So you could, I'll let you flavor it however you wish.
Okay. He's basically wrapped up in like blue glowing chains
Mm-hmm.
that are basically like attached to the bottom of the cage, like multiple chains going from what's around him and like connecting to 8 points on the floor. And he's just kind of being forced to kneel there. The chains are so wrapped tight around him and they're so taut that he can't, move up.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And as he's kind of forced onto his knees and kind of looks at you, glaring angrily, I would also say Valinar. You would not have an issue seeing Torben in this state either.
The nice change of pace.
And then your question.
Valinor speaks in tongues.
Where is the physical domain of your master on this mortal plane?
My master slumbers and rests in the Shadowfell, while his loyal devotees scour the material plane like grains of sand on a beach. We go where the wind carries, and we whisper to those who will talk, who will listen, and spread the word of his influence amongst those that will listen. Rough translation.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Well.
cultish.
Yeah. Well, about as useless as I feared that would be. But I had to check to be sure.
Stuff him in the crystal!
Fuck you too.
Oh, to the crystal.
Very well. Then using, I'm guessing this is the second charge of Soul Cage, then?
Off with his head!
Well,
yeah.
Because this is a new option you have added to, and I'm guessing, because you have not given me a new spell or altered it, so I'm just going off guesswork here.
No worries. Let me just grab it real quick and look at it again.
Yoink. You see a giant hand reach in from the ceiling, grab your little cage, and pull it out of existence. Like, the fuck?
Oh, I see. I mean, yeah. So technically, you could. It says you can use a trapped soul up to 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The question was
can-
the first.
you can use.
And
You
I'm
could
guessing.
do. Oh, go ahead.
I'm guessing this this new option
Mhm.
just is going to use a charge, but also end the spell.
Correct.
But it's still technically using the second charge.
Yes, because the way that the spell is descripted, if you use the 6th charge, the spell ends as well. So you have to use at least the final charge to put the soul into a new container. Otherwise, it would just end. So, using a charge, you put it into an object, in this case, the Harmony Stone, and your spell would come to an end. So if there's anything else that you want to use it for, now would be the time.
It honestly feels like you're trying to lead us to use it for something.
Oh.
But
can
I
do it
understand that
whatever
you're
you
also
want.
just telling us these are your options to do so. It's just
Yep.
the way you say it does sound leading.
Well,
And I'm just commenting on that.
Well, I mean, if you've got other uses, you can ask him more questions, such as, do you secretly like dicks? Or,
I like big
What-
butts and I cannot lie.
why did John come to mind? I don't understand.
No, I do feel like that would be a John response.
Or you could ask him if he'll call you daddy from now on.
No, thank you.
If all a vampire drinks is blood, does that mean they just piss blood? Sorry.
Well, I mean, there's nothing
Random
that's,
That one.
they drink
I'm sorry.
they drink blood because
I have to call in. I have taken a dive down that specific road.
Oh God.
Technically, they don't have any waste excrement.
correct. I do believe all the blood in their veins has turned into ash,
Okay.
and that's why they have to consume blood in order to keep living. But there's nothing that says
Okay.
they can't eat or drink water or anything like that.
Unless it's
Depending
garlic.
on-
Garlic water? Ugh.
Depending on
Sounds
what,
great. I don't know what you're talking about.
It all depends on what version of vampire we're talking about. Hey, we have a blind.
Yeah.
I hear vampires like a good garlic steak.
We do. Oh,
It's their favorite food,
lore
actually.
has just been dropped, ladies and gentlemen. Lore has just been dropped.
Sorry.
Garlic steak does sound delicious.
Honestly, like I'm eating that Taco Bell, and honestly, same garlic steak sounds way better.
Fair.
I had Chinese on my way home from dropping my wife off at work.
I had not
was it at
Mexican.
least decent Chinese?
Huh?
Was it at least decent Chinese, or was it
It was Panda.
That's close enough.
okay? Decent.
Anyway,
I had
You
not
throw us-
Mexican.
you throw a soul into a stone.
Yes.
All right. Would you like to describe how the magic looks as you transfer this soul from your cage into this Harmony Stone?
I feel like part of the magic of the soul cage spell is transferred to the Harmony Stone, and then it starts pulling the soul with it. So the chains holding Torben down
Mm-hmm.
begin to free themselves from the floor of the cage, but almost immediately begin drifting towards the Harmony Stone. And as things are coming loose, the chains around Torben himself are still locked tight. It's just the ones that are connected to the floor. As those ones on the floor are disconnected and are starting to float towards the Harmony Stone, I want to feel like he tries to escape, but then the spell clicks and he is sucked in.
And as he is
So,
dragged
quick
in
question.
by these blue flaming chains into the crystal, you can see just every bit of so the slight panic in his eyes as you give him one final bird and move on. Your question, Valnar.
Quick note. I was just gonna say when he looks like he's about to try and escape, you see Valimar physically get ready for a fight.
As he when he tenses
That's
on the
it.
chains. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as he's sucked in, he's basically screaming, "No!"
A soundless scream escapes as souls don't technically make noise.
You hear
And you guys have sealed Torben within one of the Harmony Stones.
perfect.
Cool.
So
We
now,
didn't have to fight him again.
so now I feel our next order of business is to. Did the cave just disappear?
No.
Okay. I feel our next order of business is we need to meet up with An and see if we can get a Fae spirit now.
Well, I would kind of like to go home and, save my family and friends. As one of them is currently missing. Missing as in, I can't see him with scrying or talk to him with sending.
That sounds like a pretty urgent matter.
Indeed. Did you ever get the rune sequence for your teleport circle?
I think so, yeah. But that is literally in the church.
Well,
Our
I could-
Yeah, I do.
worst case scenario moment.
now that
Yeah.
I'm a little more familiar with how teleport works, due to having experienced it a couple times.
Well, since you're looking to be traveling, how about taking these with you? And she'll produce 2 small spheres. They're almost like plastic. They almost look like plastic, like what we would call plastic. They're very light. And she basically gives them over to you, Denock, and goes, "These work similar to your soul cage, but they don't have a duration.
Oh, nice.
But a creature either has to be willing to go into it, or they have to be weak enough that they can't break out of it. It won't work, and it won't work
No way.
Gotta catch 'em all.
That was the exact thought. I was like, wait, did he just describe Pokeballs?
Hey.
Perfect.
I love it. I love it.
They also
If
get
it works,
bigger
it works.
it also gets bigger and smaller. What do you want from me?
Oh, for easier storage.
Is it red on top, blue and white on bottom?
One's
No,
blue, one's green.
honestly, in my head, they're more like a orange, almost like an orange see-through color, but like the entire thing is that way. That's what it's like in my head. But if you want to make
Oh,
it red
okay,
and-
like the original manga.
Ah.
okay.
'Cause, yeah, in the original Pokemon manga, the top was see-through, and you could see the Pokemon inside, and they could see out.
Oh,
That would certainly make life easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that way they knew what Pokemon they were sending out. Didn't have to guess.
it also explained why all the Pokemon always knew what was going on. Anyway.
No dying.
I'm good. Again, works similar to your soul cage, but it'll actually trap the entirety of the being. Again, they have to be weak enough. I suppose you could try and do it on an unconscious creature, but it puts them into a state of stasis. So, it doesn't really work. But then if you bring those back to me, or back to here, we can transfer those into... No, let me rephrase that. When you have a creature within these... My brain just railroaded, like, really hard.
I heard.
Yeah, it was...
We heard the train go.
Oh, that was...
I can just about see your face.
Yeah.
Do you smell something burning?
Once you have trapped a creature inside, if you notify me of where you wish to release said creature, I can meet you at that location and we can apply them to a harmony stone directly from their captivity.
Nice. So we wouldn't have to travel back here to put it in. We could just hand it off.
Well, I would be meeting you at a location.
Okay, okay. Certainly saves a lot of effort.
So one thing we need to make sure to do, and I'm talking to our group,
Mhm.
is make sure that someone makes a teleport circle close to here.
Yeah.
Probably
But-
talk to Zalfip about that one. He'd be able to give me the runes afterwards.
Wait a minute, don't you, points to Katya, no teleport?
Somehow, some way, I do.
The problem there is the wild magic bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
wild magic.
It's not as difficult as you might think, Dinok. As long as I have some kind of object associated with the location, I can take us directly there with minimal error.
You watch as
Yeah, but what happens afterwards?
You watch as Elder Vale kind of just goes, "Oh, is that the case?" And he'll reach over and like just break off a chunk of rock from the cave and hand it to you.
Perfect.
I suppose I could just label it as Hofkeen rock, and maybe that'll work.
Yes, Elder Vale is huge. It's a 2-pound rock.
So your hands drop slightly when he just drops it in your hand. You're just like, oh, I need a little bit more strength for this.
2 pounds? Really? That's
Well,
not
I'm
that
just
heavy.
saying, like, you're thinking it's going to be,
A pebble.
yeah, and just so that's how
You're
much,
just-
you know.
You're just caught off by its density.
Ah, okay. It's a rather dense stone. I suppose that'll work as long as it's from this island, and I make sure I don't forget what it is.
Label it.
That's what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll just take out my my quill and some ink and just write it on there.
And perhaps I will do some brainstorming on a way to work
Or
on your
spells.
wild magic. Unfortunately, I don't believe there is a cure for wild magic. That would be something only Father would know.
Oh, of course.
But there are ways to improve it.
You have my interest.
Tell me, does your magic explode every time you cast?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily an explosion, more like a side effect.
Without your resistance, does every time you cast a spell, does it bubble forth?
Yes, every time.
Ah, so you're one of the rare breed. Interesting.
Of course. Wouldn't have it any other way, I suppose.
Maybe we
Above
could-
game, my brain is just not remembering details about Katya's thing.
Mhm.
Has Katya told us the name of the person she's connected to?
Yes.
Yeah, she's.
It's been a point that's been brought up a few times. The connections to Tenaror and Ravarora,
Mhm.
Yeah.
as one of the originals of that bloodline.
Okay. So Dinok's going to turn to Scientia and be like, one thing that has been tickling the back of my mind ever since we heard the name Tenaror and the name of a demon, and I was wondering if there is any connection between Tenaror and Tenebris.
Ooh, there's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
Enoch, make a persuasion check for me.
Oh no!
Take a guidance.
I will take a guidance. Thank you. Persuasion. I'm going to need it because that's going to be my only modifier. 17
Wow.
and
Nice.
good for
D4.
Dinok, but can't hurt for a plus
Hey!
4.
Nice.
21 total. I will take that.
Guys, you got the legendary 21. Okay. You guys are going out of your way a lot for my father and for us. And kind of for yourselves and the rest of the world. I'll give you a little nugget. Yes, there is a connection. Probably more so of one than you could ever imagine. You had mentioned that Rev Aurora had gotten involved with a demon. That demon was Tenebris. And their offspring is Tenoror.
Oh. Wait. I could have sworn there was this being known as the Red Scare, and I might have my details crossed. But the Red Scare was supposed to be the offspring of Ravarora and a demon.
I was gonna say I thought the Red Scare was Tenor.
That is correct.
Okay.
Tenoror was the first wild magic sorcerer who was not able to control their magic very well. Imagine. Actually, I'm going to pull up a documentation real quick. I don't want to fuck this part up. Because I already have this one written out. Where is. Imagine having a being the natural magical powers of a demon, one of the most powerful demons you can find, a demon general, and having the natural affinity for magic that their mother had. They had so much magical power that anytime they used any of it, they were overflowing with magic that they couldn't control it. Every time they lost control, there was an incident. He painted a
Must
trail.
have been hell for them as a kid.
You have no idea. I thought it was going to be an amazing kinship. Very unique way of bringing the world together. But the persecution Tenoror faced from mortals and gods, there was a lot that Tenebris, Revelora, and Tenoror had to be angry about. Tenoror leaving a red trail, effectively, wherever he went. Bloodstains of whatever was occurring. Giving him nicknames such as the Red Scare, the Crimson Scar, etc., etc. Some fables even label him as a boogeyman.
No, that's just John Wick.
No, he is Baba Yaga.
He's the man you sent to kill Baba Yaga.
But so his magic
One
was...
question.
Yeah, of course.
How old was Tenoror when all of this started happening?
Sorry, wait, say that again. Tenoror or Tenebris?
Tenoror.
Tenoror, when everything started happening, the
Persecution, basically.
persecution. Well, given his nature in his existence, he wasn't necessarily allowed into public for until he was a little bit older. His first incident occurred when he was 13.
What a lucky number.
Luckiest number.
Deanock will just. Oh, that poor.
Hmm. My first incident had to be in my late 20s.
You were lucky.
Think
Well,
about it. Think
I
about
did.
how old. Think about the mindset of a 13-year-old. So impressionable, so fragile. To have
So,
people trying to kill you.
for being different. So,
Through no fault of his own.
is he still alive today?
Not exactly. Yes, but no. Technically, he was killed. Eventually. But because of his demonic nature, he lives on in the Nine Hells.
Oh boy.
Hmm. First time I was looking for a patron to try and be able to control my magic better. I feel like I got in contact with something known as the Red Scare. I never saw his face, but I got the most uncomfortable feeling I'd ever felt in my life. And I decided not to go through with that one before reaching out again for something else. Everything after that is a bit of a blur to me.
Perhaps I can do some investigation and see if there isn't or wouldn't be a way for me to help control your surges a little bit more so. I have an idea where it could potentially reduce the side effect of occurring.
The frequency?
Yes. If it works perfectly, it could reduce the frequency of it occurring down to roughly 5% of the time.
That's a lot less than it is now.
If it works perfectly. However, flaws are bound to happen.
Hmm.
But I'll need some time. How quickly would you want something like this?
As quick as possible, but I will be as patient as necessary for you to perfect it before trying to implement it.
Well, the more time I have, the more likely I am to succeed at it, but if you needed something faster, I can do faster.
Question. Katya just needs a patron, maybe. What if you become her patron,
Hmm.
at least for short term.
Could I do that?
Huh.
I love that sound.
I think
Because here's the thing:
feel like that's
anytime
more in line
warlock
with
patron
becoming a
comes
cleric.
up, it is never an actual god.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of one off the top of my head.
I mean, that would
The
turn
Raven
it in,
Queen.
but that would turn me into like a cleric or a paladin. Really, more like a cleric. I think.
I would. Well, I don't know. What's your wisdom score?
Teehee.
Oh yeah, crap. But I think that's because
at
of
the same time, it's technically not being
Yeah.
a cleric because it's still
There is a celestial warlock, which would probably be one of the closer ones, if not either that or a great old one.
yeah, one that's based around knowledge base, I suppose.
Neither one of those are really knowledge.
yeah. Again, it's like they're the closest thing we have, but they're not technically.
Yeah. I might have to make another subclass for Katya if that is the case of something that she's
Oh.
wishing to pursue. Then
I mean, you certainly piqued my interest. It didn't even occur to me until you just mentioned that. I'm like, huh, wait a minute.
Like we have the goddess right here.
Yeah.
I might as well throw the idea out.
I mean, if the goddess is willing, I could certainly give it a try if it might give me a little extra focus.
Because here's the thing. Deanoch is a necromancer, but he is flavored as a priest of the dead.
right.
Yeah.
Katya is a warlock, but could be flavored as priestess
Of wisdom? Of knowledge?
wisdom, knowledge,
Well, of knowledge, yeah.
or magic.
Maybe.
It depends on which domain you.
I'm gonna roll a d20 and I'm gonna see what comes up of it.
Okay.
We have three priests in the party. Only one of them is an actual priest.
Does that influence the dice roll?
No.
Can I roll
Even
persuasion for the DM?
No.
Damn. Okay.
Let me hear to try.
Scientia like hesitates for a minute and she kind of goes, I am not really one for pacts and things like that. Honestly, I'd rather tinker and make items. Learn more things. That's kind of my shtick. If you are wanting to devote yourself to the realm of knowledge, then there would be benefits for you in that regard, in the sense of they'd be the same benefits that I grant to the most devout of my followers. But that's kind of a passive thing. She kind of like shrugs and
I'd be willing to devote
Now,
myself to your service.
However, above
But
game,
that would be clerical.
above game. Okay.
I mean, technically, Katya has always been of the realm of knowledge already, pursuing alchemy and magic.
So,
So it wouldn't go outside of the realm of possibility.
but what could also make sense as well is you have two titans in your midst as well.
True.
Either of which could be considered a great old one in terms of a warlock power.
Hmm. Ah.
But at the same time, if you're looking just for that focus within your magic itself, you may be better off just waiting for Scientia to basically
Yeah.
create a trinket.
Who says there can't be both, though?
No one.
No one.
Time for your double dip.
Well, Eldervale certainly seems to have her hands full with trying to keep this island afloat. I wouldn't want to take any more power than she already has.
Well,
But
I mean,
Korath-
technically, both of the okay. This is above game. From what I'm understanding, both of them are going to leave this island and go to a different one. One
Hmm.
that doesn't have anyone like what they've been doing or the Archmage.
Right.
So they're still
Okay.
going to be doing this. Both of them.
Right. They're still both going to be
Am I
very busy.
incorrect in saying this, DM?
Yes, once there has been another entity to put into the crystal with Torben, so that they don't have to worry about the island ever falling, then yes, they will be leaving.
That being said, they probably don't have any extra energy to spare.
They might now that they're not constantly dumping energy into the crystal.
Yeah, because half the energy has now been filled.
Mm-hmm.
So is Eldervale looking a little bit more focused and awake, or does she
Probably
still
at
need a
this-
coffee?
Yeah, I'd say she's more awake.
Well, then I pose a question to you, Denock. Which of these titans do you feel best fits my personality?
Oofage. 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 Oofage.
You can be honest.
Yeah. I have to look specifically at my lore. Give me a second. Put up.
It's not that I'm unwilling to wait for Scientia to get this method perfected for me, but anything that can help give us strength for the coming battles, because there's a lot that we have to cover still. And the less I have to blow up my allies in the process, the better.
So, thing is, Korath is more off hands with the mortals because she's more focused on her egg. But a mortal assisting her in figuring out how to hatch her eggs as they are still sleeping, and she does not know the reason why. Unless, okay. Do you have anything with the eggs, Rip?
I didn't even know there were eggs until now.
Not offhand.
Okay. Korath, that's the reason she was part of the rise of Hofkeen, was she
Protecting
needed to
her
protect
young.
her eggs, which still haven't hatched.
Jesus, it's been over 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Are we sure that they're not spoiled by now?
They're still alive. They're just sleeping until the time comes to awake.
We are gonna continue this conversation, I think, on break, because we need to take a little break here, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Little ones.
We'll BRB, guys. All right, we are back. Sorry for the delay, children.
Sorry.
For once, I wasn't talking about you.
Yeah, but close enough. So, for what anybody missed during the break, it was Dinok pretty much breaking down to Katya the differences between the two titans in the room, Eldervale and Korath. Essentially, Eldervale embodies nature, and she is very motherly and loyal to her followers. And Korath is more like the stepmother. She's more aloof of mortals because most of her focus is on trying to figure out why her eggs have been sleeping for 2,000 years and never hatched.
And I said my favorite line, I think, all night. So, hot
Oh,
Dami
yeah.
Mommy versus Stepmom.
Yes. Yes. And
That's gotta
Based
go
on
our quote tab.
yes.
I mean, technically, right now it's hot Dami Daddy versus.
Oh Lord,
Stepmama.
that's worse. But based on Katya's personality and love for trying to solve the unsolvable, she has decided to try and convince Korath to grant an extension of her power to help Katya along in the coming days.
Grant me power, mommy.
As long as you don't get stuck, you're good.
So, after Dinok gives these descriptions to Katya, as serious as he possibly can, she will turn
Whispering too.
Yeah, she will turn to Korath and say, I'm sorry to hear about your unhatched children. If there's anything I understand about life, is there are quite a few mysteries that need solving. There's always an answer to any problem. I've spent a good portion of my life trying to figure out the unsolvable on my island. So I very much enjoy that. Just trying to come up with solutions where nobody has a solution. And if there's any way I could help you with that, I would love to. But at the same time,
The moment you mentioned her eggs, you can see her kind of turn and stiffen at you a little bit, almost defensively. But then as you begin kind of explaining the rest of your intent, that expression softens a little bit. I thank you for your concern. But what, pray tell, could you offer to enlighten me on when it comes to my kin's situation?
I would like to believe that the answer lies somewhere in magic or alchemy, though I'm unsure without being able to actually see the eggs for myself. Not trying to rush anything, saying that you have to bring me to them right away, but I'll have plenty of time in between travels to research these topics that I might be able to provide a better solution, or at least help you find one. All that I ask is for just a fraction of your power, and I will help you in the best that I can.
if this affects the decision in any way. Outside of masters of their craft, I do believe Katya is one of the best in what she does.
That's because I learned from the best. I may not have seen my mother for several years now. I do have some hope, knowing that there is a surface world now. But I picked up from everything that she taught me. And I was on the verge of a breakthrough in figuring out how to make water from nothing. Almost nothing. When Martinez called us to this to save the world.
Make that persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Guidance.
You get
This
a
is one of
guidance
my-
counselor.
This is one of my high skills, so let's hope and pray. Ooh. Can I bend luck on that?
You get guidance.
Oof.
Oh, I get guidance? I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, I heard him.
Okay.
That's a D4, right?
Yeah.
21.
It's a magic number.
Did you? You said you had said something about Ben Luck. Are you able to add Ben Luck to a ability check?
Yep.
And if you want to spend the sorcery points, then you may.
Just draw a tiny little sigil in the air. 24. Final number.
You're not gonna believe me, but with what I rolled for her insight, which is let's just say you probably needed that bend luck, because otherwise that 21 would have matched hers.
Oh my god.
Well, congratulations on that one.
She kind of goes,
Shit.
let me talk with Elder Vale to ensure that the split of power within our crystal won't diminish by giving you a fraction.
Fair enough.
And the two titans take a moment to step away.
Okay.
Talk. Now, while those two ladies gossip, are there any other questions you guys have for me? I know there's at least a few brimming from you younglings. Says
Well, you already answered my question about untangling my weave. I do. We don't have an answer about who caused the illness to Dinok's wife. But what can we do? Is there anything that we can do to bring her back?
That is, if you are allowed to answer.
I was told that I am not allowed to to lay a hand on her. I have not been forbidden from giving advice or casting a spell on them. As long as what I do does not interfere, technically speaking, with Dinok's ascension process, for the lack of a better term, no one will be upset, nor none the wiser. But unfortunately, the thing that I require is something that you will be very hard pressed to find. If it wasn't for me. I need a scale from a platinum dragon.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
Oh.
Not as dangerous as you would think. It's
just making sure.
Mhm.
She said platinum, correct?
Yes,
Platinum.
correct.
Key. Mm. Question.
Mhm.
What is the lore on platinum dragons in this world?
Kind of the same as most lore on most dragons in this world, and and that is a lot of the dragons went, to the most part of people's knowledge, extinct during the war and the following event of the Rising event. And a lot of that was due to a lot of dragons, red dragons particularly, sided with the demon fiends and stuff. And they were a very powerful enemy during that time. But because of this, dragons across the world were hunted ferociously, both for killing powerful enemies, for material parts, or for out of fear. The materials and parts and things like that, even for dragons who were allied with the people who were fighting, sometimes they were quote unquote harvested to the point where they died. And I'm giving this to you, Deanoch, because of your Dragonborn heritage and your family of, Dragonborn researchers. But there has always been a small rumor within the circles of those of you who have researched dragons that the dragons didn't just go extinct, but some of them vanished from history as if they went into hiding.
Okay. Scale of a platinum dragon might be difficult to acquire.
Well, the hardest one to, I think, get past will be Zimror. He's a child of my creation, in a sense.
How do you spell that?
Zymror.
Okay.
I can throw it in.
You know, you complain about making hard to pronounce names, and then you bring out that spelling.
I like it.
But
It's like,
not hard. Oh, yeah, but it's not hard to pronounce. Zimror.
Zimror. Zimror is a platinum dragon?
No.
No.
He is. Well, that'd be a little bit of a spoil. Too much spoils, I think. He's a protector of where the platinum dragon would reside.
Okay.
Think of him as
Like
like
a
a guard
bodyguard.
dog. Or a bodyguard. Or a bodyguard. Yeah, one of the two.
Okay.
He can be convinced. Don't. I mean, you could try to fight him. I wouldn't advise it. But. To each their own. You can find them on a small island on the surface in the middle of the four oceans.
Oh boy.
So,
Question.
uh-huh.
Is this leading back to that one shot from
No,
ages ago? Okay.
not exactly. So, I'm gonna do some freehand drawing here.
Oh, those are lines. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, these are
The
The
Grand
four-
Line.
okay.
Those are the four
So-
oceans.
Well, no, those are the four continents effectively that are on the surface.
Okay.
Here's all the waters.
Yeah.
The island she is referring to is there.
That doesn't quite look like the world map that we've got.
I'm working with limited space here, motherfucker.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I'm looking at the world map here, and there's not really a space that's like right in between the four landmasses, unless you just. Okay,
Guesstimate
whatever.
it.
Imagination, motherfucker.
I'm using my imagination. Okay.
What's imagination?
So it's like right in the middle
Let's
of
not be
everything.
imaginative again.
Yes, it's kind of in the middle of everything. There are four continents that are on the surface, and this island is effectively in between the four of them.
Wow.
Roughly an equal distance between all four, because I'm gonna be a dick like that.
Equidistant. Somewhere you'd have to fly to or get really, really, really lucky with a teleport, which we're not trying that.
She wouldn't
That's
have
a side-
anything from that location anyway.
That sounds like a side quest that can wait till we've stabilized the islands.
That's up to you guys of when you go and return. Just know that your wife will be here until then, Denock.
Honestly, if I tried to delay or alter our course and focus on bringing Borgak back over everything else, I'm not going to get a chance to beat the Shinigami. She'd kick my ass literally to death, become a necromancer herself, bring me back, and then
Kill you.
yeah. Oh, I love that one.
So she'll keep you on the straight and narrow. Probably best to stabilize the world before we try to bring your loved one back.
Although honestly, she probably could have done all this herself. You know, she's a badass.
I look forward to meeting her one day. I'm sure she's quite lovely.
Scientia just smiles.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
another question down.
If no one objects, I have a question.
Go for it.
I thought I was going to look at Santi and ask, do you happen to know anything about what's going on with Haru?
That's cocked. I'm really sorry. 'cause that's
What's
actually-
Haru?
Haru is one of my friends. One of my childhood friends.
Okay. How do you spell that for note keeping?
Haru.
Okay.
About as simple as it can get.
You never know.
Hmm.
Hi, Zora.
Kitty cat.
Kitty, 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 kitty.
Picture in the fur babies.
She's just walking across the room. Nothing to take a picture of.
Fascinating. They don't appear to be dead. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
But otherwise, they're kind of hidden or hiding. Curious.
Must have found a really freaking good hiding spot. Or he was captured by someone.
Well, given
Yeah.
his nature, both seem pretty likely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so basically like Boblin.
Not too far
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Oh no, not another one.
Also, I love how none of you guys are creeped out that she knows who all of these people are that you just throw names out at and
Well,
to explain
she
it.
was the one who said there's only 3 questions in the world she does not have the answers to. Outright. And she's also the goddess of knowledge. Like, if she doesn't know something, it's probably one of those 3 questions. Or she cannot readily access that information right this second. So it's not overly surprising.
Fair.
Also,
Okay,
we've been getting answers from the orb of her orb. So
Yep.
this is just a more direct version. Like, we're getting like actual
except we don't have to wait a week.
Yeah.
And technically,
I have
she's a
one more
shit
question,
more
and it is
powerful
kind of
than the Orb.
important.
Okay.
Okay.
What do we need to be able to track the Sleeping King? I do believe we have enough. We know he's in the Shadowfell, based on what Denoch has already uncovered. But how can we track him ourselves?
You don't need to track him. Go to the Shadowfell, and you will find him. The Shadowfell
Or he'll
is...
find us.
He's too lazy to leave his castle. But you'll see his castle in the Shadowfell if you go there.
I think I'm starting to really understand the moniker Sleeping King. It's not him putting other people to sleep. He's always asleep.
And how the fuck did
And
he get
not
so
magical
close?
sleep. He's just too lazy to wake up.
Yeah. So
Maybe we should
Well-
fight him while he's asleep.
we'll see how lazy he is when we storm his castle, and I'm pretty sure he'll wake up long enough to destroy us.
Remember, he is a man-made god, she says using air quotes. Even though we do not acknowledge him as a god, he is still extremely powerful.
So
That's
basically,
this question.
one of our last quests.
So as long as we stay out of the Shadowfell, we probably won't have to worry about actually running into him.
He himself, no, but his agents of chaos and destruction, probably. You've probably already encountered one of them, or one of his most recent ones, anyway.
Well, Torben.
I was referring to somebody else, but yes.
Oh, didn't he have a name? Was it the one with the necromantress?
The one I'm thinking of is, Aaron, I think.
Who? Aaron?
Yeah, maybe you never got their name.
There.
The lady that the Sleeping King captured through Valinar's spell.
So the necromancer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the necromantress. Okay.
Her face.
Ah, okay. I
The
was
one
confused
who
with
had
who
the
you're talking
staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we killed her. When she came back.
You didn't
Okay.
technically kill her the first time. You banished her.
Yeah,
And then the
pretty sure we
banishment
killed her
kinda
the
got-
second time.
The second time you technically killed her, as
Yeah.
far as you're aware.
So she, same thing. What happened to Torben happened to her, or at least close enough.
Possibly.
Oh,
Again, I can't see what is
yes.
going on in his domain, but I would imagine that that entity is being reconstructed.
So it looks like almost every single member of his cult. I'm going to have to use this spell on.
I don't think of
Well,
this
that
as
just
a
means we'll have plenty
defense.
of fuel for the stones.
I was just gonna say.
Exactly.
Let them come to us. At least then we don't have to hunt them down.
Um. I have another question.
Yes.
It is Palama one of his followers?
No, she is one of her own followers.
One of her own. Okay. She's one of her own. Okay. Okay.
I love how that just kind of slightly broke him.
It almost sounds like she makes herself out to be her own goddess.
Unless she's trying to become like him.
Ew.
Okay, if I think about her anymore, I'm just gonna get angry.
Okay. Well,
Well,
I'm out of questions.
Xenos. We have literal goddess of knowledge herself. Is there anything you want to ask her?
That is a good question.
I figured it would be rude to just exclude you from this.
That is a good question.
He is the one that that has not spoken this entire time.
Yes, I am. I've been listening.
Yeah, we're just airing our dirty laundry here, and he's just waiting.
Absorbing information.
Also a really good point. Xenos, explain to the audience how Xenos feels in this moment. And I say this because less than 2 weeks ago, you met these chuckle fucks. They told you that they were going looking for a flying fortress. They found a flying fortress, or so they say it was a flying fortress. And then you all teleported here, fought an agent of a sleeping king, which is a man-made god, and then immediately met a god, a living, breathing god. After which, she basically led you to meet two titans, two creatures that are more powerful than any other creature walking the planet. And they're having a casual conversation with all of them as if they've known each other for months.
And Deanoch would have explained in the very beginning who the two titans were. That they are a Tarask and a Kraken.
Mm-hmm. So
who just so happen to have a human form.
Yeah, so how is Xenos feeling in this moment of knowing all of this crap? And in fact, I can probably get you a more accurate date than the last 2 weeks if you really wanted me to.
I mean,
it's probably more like a week and a half.
Yeah. I kind of think he's almost like that Triton in Bears game.
I don't get the reference.
It's between Rip and I.
I could just, by comparison, he probably he's like, I've slain the biggest of creatures and I've destroyed all these great things, and then here we are, oh yeah, we're putting on killing gods, and we're speaking to this god. We know these titans. It's like what he's been doing all his life is child's play by comparison. So he's just looking up at us like a lost kid, like, what the fuck is going on?
Is more intrigued in the hunt.
So it would be less than or I guess it'd be like a week and 2 days. So 9 days ago is when you met these people, I think. Ballparking it anyway, because how many days did it take you guys to go from or get to the Laputa? I think it was like 4, right?
Something like that.
Didn't take us long.
Mm-hmm. I want to say it was like 4 days, which in that case, the day before, you guys recruited Xenos, and the same day that you guys found the Laputa, you guys teleported away from the Laputa.
Which still kind of rankles Deanoch's scales a little bit. Like, oh, for fuck's sake!
So that means on the 24th.
Doesn't mean I can't take us back.
That means on the 24th of Raja was when you guys recruited Xenos. It is now the 33rd of Raja.
They did explain to me that they wanted to fight this Torben guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and then we fought the Torben guy.
We said we're fighting an undead agent of a wannabe god, or an evil godlike entity. So yeah, you know about Torben.
Yeah.
He's just a has-been now.
Xenos doesn't really feel like shock or awe or anything like that at this. He's like, well, I guess this is what I'm in now.
You're so deep in the shit, you're just like, meh.
I don't even know how to respond.
I mean, it's more like, well, at least I know that it's going to be a challenge. It's sort of like Dexter and the Trinity Killer. And of course, nobody else has watched Dexter.
Nope.
Long time ago.
He sees them as like a...
I watched Dexter, I just never finished it.
Worthy of where we had the lab, right?
Trinity Killer was like season 3. Yeah, the urn, you mean? Pretty sure it was an urn with his mother's or grandmother's ashes.
Uh,
Or his wife's ashes.
Hmm.
Anywho. I mean, he's mostly just interested in me.
He's more excited
Becoming-
about the upcoming hunt, with one of them being an almost god.
In his mind right now is so everybody's asked these questions, and he's like, so how does one kill the sleeping king?
ooh,
That one question we haven't asked yet.
that's a good one.
The one question that the hunter would think of.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
Well, he is still mortal. Any mortal wound should, in theory, end him.
And just hope.
You say in
Nothing
theory.
is-
He clearly has the ability to manipulate souls beyond the Shadowfell. So,
Well, hopefully, by the time we get there, my magic will be strong enough to just. And I jingle the cage.
Is there like a specific weapon or a specific weakness that he might have that you might be vulnerable to?
He struggles to keep up
they make pills for that.
with radiant damage.
Neat.
It doesn't weaken him, per se, but it's one of the few things that we have found in the past that is not one of his
Fortes?
yes, a forte.
And then at this, Enoch's just like, wait. Ah, shit. I'm gonna be next to useless.
This is where Valinor will shine. Literally.
Guess I'll bring the light.
I would guess he's probably immune to psychic attacks. Or stronger against those. Attacks of the mind.
I mean, if he is mortal, then theoretically we should still be able to hit him with anything that affects the
He's
mind.
not immune to. He may be a little bit stronger willed against it, but I wouldn't say he's immune to it. Now, necrotic, on the other hand, I would say that he would be immune to that.
Yep.
I'll teach him the meaning of true fear.
I am fear.
After all, psychic manipulation seems to be one of my strong suits. When it works out, that is.
Well, I'll have to find an alternative method of fighting him then.
Have you thought of bringing a big sword and maybe throwing it at him?
Why would I throw the sword? You have ranged weapons for that.
I don't know. I don't use a sword. I just assume that's, well, that's more like a Cardin thing, I suppose.
Have you ever seen a sword thrower?
I've seen an axe thrower.
I've seen a Cardin.
He threw all sorts of things
Cardin
at
through pretty much
enemies.
anything.
He really didn't like doors. Not as much as John, but he did not like doors.
These people are weird and they like throwing things.
We have a cleric that throws fireballs.
I mean, I wouldn't call that throwing. Unless, Valnar, do you make a throwing motion as your Semitic component to casting Fireball?
Are you asking if I have a somatic component for it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
Is that what you were
Fireball
asking?
implies Pokemon Somatic.
I think it is.
Any other
No, I always
questions,
imagined,
viewers?
if no one else has one, I do have one more question.
Oh,
Although I'm not sure if she can answer it because it might be more in Geisma's domain. Because it was in his holy text and I can't remember it. The tale of the man with glowing eyes? I think that's what it was.
Ooh.
ah. You're referring
Tale
to
that
the
sounded familiar,
legend-
but I could never recall it.
Are you wishing
Yes.
to know if I know the tale?
Yes.
The tale in which you are referring to is the reason why, most likely, you have been branded a terrorist, for the lack of a better term.
Right.
The individual in the story, in this legend of this man with the glowing eyes, they had the ability to see past any deceit, magical or non-magical, so the rumor goes. And I think that's why you were branded for execution upon discovery.
Wait, so something like what's that? It begins with a Z. It's a cleric spell.
Zealot? Oh. A spell.
Oh.
Oh!
Zone of Truth! Is that it? I think I saw someone use that one time.
I
I believe
no, I don't
John
think
used the Zone of Truth. Once.
But like an at-will thing.
But I think
I think it's like you can see through illusions.
Zone. Are we still talking about Zone of Truth, or are we talking about the ability now?
Yes?
We're above game. Deanock is
Oh.
wondering if the glowing eyed man has some kind of at-will Zone of Truth like thing.
Okay. Oh,
If that's
okay.
the case. Ooh.
I don't necessarily think so, because it sounds more to me like he physically sees it, where Zone of Truth won't allow them to lie at all.
Think of it as
instead of them being able to.
a
Hmm?
think of it as a I believe it's a planetar that can tell when someone is lying always, as well as potentially, because again, this is all part of a story, be able to see through illusions. As he points to Katya. Or she points to Katya.
So it's both.
Both and or neither. All wrapped up in one, probably. How much of the story is truth?
In the sense that the person in the story is Valinor, or in the sense that the story is true that there
The
was a person
abilities.
like this? The abilities.
Well, it sounds like it was made up by somebody who, um, just. It sounds like the story itself was made up by somebody who just wanted to scare little children into telling the truth at all times, or the boogeyman with the glowing eyes will come for them. Or like the church has something they need to cover up.
I mean, I feel like the second one might be more likely if I'm being branded as a terrorist, because I don't see why Palama would freak out about me if that story's untrue and just like a boogeyman's tale.
Maybe she fears losing her power.
Oh, I can definitely see that.
Which is why I'm asking, how much of that story is truth? Most tales and legend do have some
Mm-hmm.
starting point where it's actually based somewhat in the real.
That story would have taken place originally a long time ago, when some of our celestials actually roamed the world. Planetars and solars innately have true sight, which would allow them to see through any illusions. They also have what is called a divine awareness, which allows them to know if it hears a lie. Most likely, this story was fabricated around a planetar who or a solar, I don't judge, who may have gotten too close to a mortal soul.
Hmm.
And now, just out of curiosity, Valar will take off his sunglasses and just look over at Korath and I forget Vale.
Elder Vale?
Mm-hmm.
Outer Vale.
Yeah, Elder Vale. Just to see if there's anything different.
Ooh.
Full, but
Mm-hmm.
no harm in trying.
You're just curious at this point.
Yep.
I would say you don't immediately notice anything off. But you also know that they are not what they are currently are. So the more you look, the more you
Okay.
just get that sense of immeasurable power behind their form.
Okay. And when I put the glasses back on, do I still feel that?
I mean, that's gonna be up to you at that point.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to forget the fact that
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
they are unfathomably powerful.
I mean, as long as you remember they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are but mortals standing in the realm of gods and
I
titans.
as I say,
Literally, in this sense.
I feel like I would still feel it, and that's solely because I know what they are. All right. Well, I'm done.
I'm out of questions.
Where can we find some really dope ass weapons?
Oh Lord.
Well,
On the bodies of our enemies, right?
there are a number of fun doodads here on this island itself. If you really want to find some interesting things, find one of the vaults. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. Of Kine. He's got several hidden throughout the world. Find one of those, and I promise you'll find some interesting weaponry.
Ooh. Where is the vault at?
That
You are the
Knowing
best
knowing
knowledge.
that we have an epic quest, we'll probably find one along our way. Probably.
That is not something I'm going to tell you about. Mainly because I don't want to have an argument with my brother. But they're out there. Besides, you carry one of the 7 virtues. There aren't many more powerful blades than one of those.
Yeah, you can always check.
Fair point.
Only stole it from John.
So we'll see if that has repercussions.
Won't have repercussions if we're not on this island.
Who's to say
Exactly.
John still is on this island?
Yeah, I figured.
Is John still on this island?
She winks at you.
Where would he have
Really?
gone?
The only reason John stayed here is because of how powerful Torben is. I have no doubt that without Torben, John would have found a way off the island and have found us.
John has a unusual affliction. But that's for another time. It would seem that somebody wants your attention. And as you turn back, Koroth is standing there.
Oh.
It has been discussed. This is a trade that we could accommodate. But are you prepared for the sacrifices that you may have to make.
If you mean by sacrificing some of my time and effort, then yes. If you mean literal sacrifices, could be a little different.
Okay, then. And she is gonna get uncomfortably close. To the point where you can feel her breathing on your cheek. And
What does her breath feel like?
Soft, warm air.
Okay. I don't know what I was expecting.
I don't know what you were expecting either.
I mean, being a fish
it could have
lady.
been cold since, yeah.
Yeah.
She hasn't been in water for a little while either. You guys have been here for a bit.
Yeah.
And she is now in a humanoid form, not
A cold
Katya,
fish.
yes, Katya is uncomfortable because she is still a female and is attracted to men. However, she doesn't pull away because, after her last interactions with the previous patron, I guess she just feels like this is just to be expected at this point.
And she kind of gets close and she'll whisper, "This'll probably hurt." And the rest of you guys kind of watch as I can't even think of the freaking name of the movie, but have you guys know like how there's like a tapeworm kind of has like that circular mouth that just kind of shoots and will attach to things, and like
Oh no.
she does that but with her tongue.
Oh.
As she goes to basically kiss like the side of your neck.
Oh geez.
Huh.
So, like Alien mouth.
Yeah,
kind of.
that's what I was thinking.
I was thinking vampire, but
With their tongue?
Yeah, like they open their mouth and kind of just and onto the side of your neck. You take
I can see it.
24 points of piercing damage
Ow!
as you are marked by Koroth.
Oh wow, that's a permanent change.
And we'll go ahead and end the session there tonight.
Alright.
Well then, things have happened.
Things
Katya?
have
Fun.
happened.
Katya, you're
Wow.
probably going to need to do the recap next time.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah, this was a major lore dump session.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's another 5 pages. 1, 2, 3,
Not surprised.
4, 5. Yep, 5 more. Damn, a lot of lore there. And I'm not sure I got it all either.
Well, it's all
So-
live streamed. You can pick it up in the VOD if you need to.
Yeah, I think I got the gist of it. But so does this mean that, as being branded as Koroth by Koroth, that I have just gotten a transfer of her power?
Yes, you can take
Okay.
one level of Warlock now.
Sweet.
Just to make sure things are clear to the audience,
Katya is not going
losing
up one
one
level of everybody else, so I will
No,
not do that.
I'm losing a level sorcerer and gaining a level warlock.
yeah, we're just making sure.
Or we
I'm
can
making
just
sure that's
all level up.
You guys already did that, though.
yes, but what about second level up?
You guys
I
realize
see what you did there.
You guys still have a lot to get through before the end of this campaign, and you guys are
I
already
know,
in high-level play, effectively.
I know, but I had to make the
The
I
joke.
had to make the Lord of the Rings quote.
Fair enough.
Oh my god, my HP actually went up by 2 as a result.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We now have a tank.
Don't lie to me.
No. Xenos' hit points are well, they were nice. Now I don't know what they are.
Besides, our tank is floating behind me.
Yeah.
Are nice.
Banish spell is
Huh?
create, destroy water, thunder wave,
Enos'
wind,
hit
silence.
points are still nice.
Well, you were
Sleet storm.
169 on hit points. They should be higher than that now since you're level up.
Yeah, my page, because we're level 13, right?
14.
Oh,
14.
my character sheet still says 13, so I'll have
Well,
to
you
work on
haven't
that.
you haven't done the level up process then. I mean, in your defense, you were busy. You got married and things like that since the last time we played.
I can breathe underwater?
There it is!
Is that a
I knew
first
that was
level
one of the
ability?
things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. With a swim speed of 40. Oh shit, I'm gonna have gills.
You can flavor that as that's part of the brand that she gave you on the neck.
Sweet.
That's
I love
kinda
it.
cool.
I knew
Yeah,
mechanically and, like,
I get
I
2
knew
cantrips and
mechanic-
2 more spells.
yeah. I knew
But yeah.
mechanically that you would enjoy some of the deep one stuff, or ocean stuff.
Fathomless is a very, very good subclass for Warlock.
Ooh,
But yeah,
decisions.
while Katya is doing that, thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, Saranara. No Monster Hunter this week.
Peace out.
I may not stream tomorrow night because I may be doing some other stuff with a friend. I don't know yet. Yeah. Back next week with some more dur. I think I don't know what day my wife works next week. Thursday. Thursday I should probably stream something next Thursday. So we'll see. In the meantime, you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy your Halloween weekend because it won't. Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
Happy Halloween, folks.
Happy Halloween.
Good night.
Happy Halloween.